information. So I ended up calling them, and after some time they finally called me back, told me that they were not going to give us a guide to tour the place. They did not want us to show up as media representatives.
Okay, so they called the Jehovah's Witnesses. Just to sum this up, the Jehovah's Witnesses rejected their request to visit with their cameras as media representatives. They obviously don't feel comfortable having people who have maybe shoddy intentions to come by and to be filming. So what do these people do? Well, they'll decide, obviously, the honorable thing to do when people don't want you showing up with cameras is to not show up with cameras. But what do?
Our intent was not to disrupt. So we decided to go into a different strategy to get into the place. We were going to go through the public tour.
Well, this sounds reasonable, the public tour. If there is a public tour, certainly anyone should be able to tour the facilities. Seems quite reasonable, right?
So the plan was to show up to the headquarters to the public tour, dressed as a Jehovah's Witness, presenting as...
Wait. But you're not a Jehovah's Witness. In fact, it says right on your video, you're an ex-Jehovah's Witness. So apparently now the plan is to show up again under false pretenses. And in this case, you're going to pretend you're something that you're not because you want to gain access into a place where you do not belong and you're probably not welcome. So what happens next?
As a Jehovah's Witness, and my friends were going to be studying with me. I went with my wife as well. The camera was intended to look touristy. It wasn't a big professional camera. It was just a standard Canon camera. We roll up to the gate and they told us that they were full because they had international delegates. So they gave us a phone number to call, see if we could book a tour.
Okay. We are waiting to see if they're gonna let me in. It's ringing.
So they get pretty lucky, and the Jehovah's Witnesses decide that they're going to let them into the building under the assumption that there is one Jehovah's Witness in the car. You can see him. He's dressed in the suit. Apparently, suits are what Jehovah's Witnesses wear. And there were other people in the car who were interested in learning more about the Jehovah's Witness faith. So when they show up there, they start documenting with their video camera, and they start earning the attention of a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses. And the Jehovah's Witnesses start to follow them around and ask them what their intentions are. And according to them, the Jehovah's Witnesses have an interesting personality. They seem to be smiling a lot, and they're very nice.
Something about how Owen's feeling being in a Jehovah's Witness compound. First impressions, everyone, I think especially if they perceive you as a witness, like if they see Owen's suit, they're so smiley. Hopefully they'll continue to be happy to see us while we do this tour.
There are still more barriers to entry.
So he commented on the fact that they're very smiley, they're very happy. Apparently this is something that's unusual to Drew. It's not normal, apparently, to be very smiley and very happy. In fact, he goes on to say later that was something that, because they're in a cult, maybe this is why they're so smiley. They both made claims that people had glazed eyes and big smiles on their faces. So apparently, according to these two, this is an unusual thing to see. Perhaps in their own communities, it's very rare to see people smile. I'm not sure what to make of that particular thing, but that seems to be the implication if you think it's strange when people smile. So let's go to the next clip. Now, they went through the Jehovah's Witnesses facilities. I don't want to take their entire video away, so I'm just taking little snippets of it. But they went through the Jehovah's Witness facilities. They were followed a couple times, questioned a couple times. People were saying, hey, why are you here? What's your name? Where are you from? They were acting very friendly towards them. Towards the end, though, a couple of senior Jehovah's Witnesses came by them, and they found that was very uncomfortable. They didn't feel happy seeing these senior Jehovah's Witnesses because probably they were making signals to these people that they weren't doing something that they were supposed to be doing. Usually if you lie, you have body language that gives that away. For example, a lot of liars tend to look down at their feet. They might not be looking right into the eyes of the person to whom they're lying. They might be doing other things such as fidgeting or touching their face or doing different sorts of things if they're telling a lie. So that might have been something that was going on. I'm not sure. But whatever it is, the Jehovah's Witnesses also were trying to identify who these people were. So one Jehovah's Witness offered to take a picture of them because they were standing in front of a place where they wanted to take a picture. And so he said, hey, I'll take a picture of you. So the wife, as he called her, actually gave her her phone, and the Jehovah's Witness apparently wanted to try to get some identifying information off the phone and never ended up taking a picture, which is a little strange. I'll definitely give that to him. But it's still something that it seems that the Jehovah's Witnesses were very concerned about these strangers in their building and what their intentions were. And the strangers who were in the building apparently didn't realize that the Jehovah's Witnesses made it really clear up front that they weren't interested in having people in their building filming, as maybe that's not something that they're comfortable with. So let's see what happens at 20-minute mark.
The information that we had given them on the phone prior, posing as someone completely different, ourselves, they had picked up on, and they were reading off our identities that we had given them in a totally unrelated reaction. I mean, you didn't even give this person your information, and he was throwing it back at you, kind of as a scare tactic.
Of course, the information that they had was inaccurate, but you could see they were reaching to try to throw out names to see what my reaction would be.
Right, so we told them that we were a part of Aurora Creative Media, right? And so they got that correct. However, they tried to place you in what your entire name was, of course censored here, but it was not in any way accurate. So unfortunately, there may be a random Jehovah's Witness out there that is going to be thrown under the bus because they made a wrong guess.
Let me just ask you, what congregation are you associated with?
I'm with...
We don't want this in any way to come across as something negative.
Definitely not.
And maybe this is just all a little confusing thing, because we don't want that to happen either.
So let's get what happened here. These people were in the Jehovah's Witnesses facilities. They gave fake names. They said they were something that they weren't. And now they're reviewing the fact that the Jehovah's Witnesses figured them out, maybe didn't totally get everything correct, but apparently the Jehovah's Witnesses were on to them. And they think that this is, it seems amusing, possibly. Let's see what they say next.
Definitely.
And most people don't bring real fancy cameras. Can I just stay right here for a moment?
Sure,
Right
but
there.
can I ask why?
Yeah, well, I just want to make sure that we're not confusing you with someone else. That's all.
Okay.
Okay? Please hang tight.
Okay, let's pause there. What happened here is he used a lot of condescending inflections.
Yeah.
Says, we just want to make sure we're not confusing you with someone else.
Very passive aggressive.
Yes, very passive aggressive. So at that point, I knew they weren't going to let us in. We all did. We all knew they weren't going to let us in.
Definitely not.
We were basically just prepared to leave. There was really no point in us being there anymore.
Bingo. So there's no point in them being there, because their intentions were to go in there and make the Jehovah's Witnesses look bad. They wanted to make them look like a cult. Their interactions with the Jehovah's Witnesses, in contrast, though, highlighted the fact that Jehovah's Witnesses were, number one, very happy. They pointed that out a couple of times. They were smiling. They seemed to really like the fact if they were there for the right reasons, which were to be other Jehovah's Witnesses. The Jehovah's Witnesses also, though, were concerned about these people who were walking around with a relatively large size camera, although they say it's not very large, but the picture that they showed here in the video was relatively large. And they were filming when they weren't supposed to be filming. They said they were people they weren't supposed to be. And yet they're going to try to turn the tables here on the Jehovah's Witnesses to call the Jehovah's Witnesses the liars. So just keep listening.
So my question is, why did they want us to wait?
Exactly.
What were we waiting for? I don't want to hold you guys up or anything. We're just going to head out and not worry about it.
It's not like we're trying to hide anything, but it's just that we're trying to
I can
make sure that everything here is good.
Sure.
Yeah, we're not trying to hide anything. We just want to make sure that everything we do here doesn't get on film so that it can be shown to the outside world.
They were just super paranoid about everything.
So why would it be a concern to an organization that is under a lot of scrutiny that people go into their place, and when they're not actually supposed to be in their place, and start filming because they have intentions that are malicious because they want to show the place in a bad light. So the Jehovah's Witnesses, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness, but I understand that there are people who are Jehovah's Witnesses. Any Jehovah's Witness that I've ever met has always been a very kind person. They do seem like they're very happy, although apparently this particular person, Owen, was not happy with the Jehovah's Witnesses. But the thing is that particular sect has come under a lot of fire, so they're probably pretty concerned about having people come in from the outside, make films that try to purposely put them into a bad light, saying that the idea that they're even smiling at them reflects the fact that they're part of a cult. So that's exactly what the Jehovah's Witnesses were probably concerned about. I don't think it's anything that goes beyond that, but Owen and Drew are going to try to make it sound like they're really the malicious intentions that are bad are coming from Jehovah's Witnesses.
We were afraid that we were going to, I mean, what were they afraid of? I can't even guess. But something else I noticed about this situation is there was something called theocratic warfare happening. They can lie and manipulate and cheat and do whatever it takes to serve the Watchtower Society.
Wait. Did you just hear that? So who is lying? Who is manipulating? Who is cheating? Right from the outset, the very intentions of Drew, who calls himself the genetically modified skeptic, and the telltale atheist, right at the outset, their intentions were to lie about their identities, to manipulate the Jehovah's Witnesses into believing them by wearing a suit and trying to look the part of a Jehovah's Witness, and to go break into their facilities, crash into their facilities. Now, obviously, I don't mean break in, but they went into the facilities with intentions that weren't what they said they were there for. So the people who actually were lying to serve their own income streams on YouTube were actually the two who are in this video. It's the strangest irony that I've ever seen. You have two men here, two young men, who basically film themselves lying and manipulating, and then their conclusion after going through the Jehovah's Witnesses facilities is that the Jehovah's Witnesses were the ones who were lying and manipulating. It is the oddest thing I've ever seen. Thank you so much for coming. I'm really glad that you showed up. I probably think that we could probably use a little humor now. That's what I'm thinking. And another thing I'd like to point out is one more piece of humor and I will let you go. So again, please like, subscribe, come again. I finally figured out some pretty decent software on my channel for videos, so I should be making some more commentary videos in the future. I hope to see you. Thanks a lot. You can find me on Twitter if you feel like it at LEAD1225. You can also find me again at Christian-apologist.com. I've written over 100 blogs on Christianity, and I'll give you lots and lots of reasons to believe. Though I don't believe in Jehovah's Witnesses, that particular sect, because they don't believe in Jesus, for one, that he's divine, I do believe in Christianity, and I do believe it's the truth. Thank you.